of metals. In this presentation, we're going to be learning something general about metals and some of their properties. Then, in other individual videos, you will be able to explore in more detail each of the groups of metals. The first thing that you just need to remember is that metals are located on the left side of the periodic table. You can see them right here. And those are the most abundant elements on Earth. You can see that we have more metals than non-metals. And this borderline is something important that you just need to remember because it separates the metals from the non-metals. Okay, here we can see the metalloids as well, and we're going to discuss a little bit more about the metalloids later on. So, generally speaking, the metallic character of the elements increases from left to right and also increases from top to bottom. So the elements on this corner are considered more metallic. The elements right here are completely non-metallic. So the metals have some general properties. The first thing that you need to know is that metals are considered ductile, or they have ductility, because we can produce wires with many of them. For example, copper is a very ductile metal and we make a wire out of copper. However, we can see that there are some other metals that are more malleable and more ductile, for example gold, but it would be very expensive to make gold wires. Also, they're highly malleable. Being malleable means that you can produce different shapes with those metals and sheets as well. As you can see right here, you can hammer them and they don't really break. You can have different shapes. As well, they have something that is called metallic luster. So when we polish a metal, we're gonna see that it usually shines. Some metals do not exhibit this luster because they are covered with a thin layer of rust or oxides, and that makes them dull. But once we remove that layer of oxide and we expose the metal, then we can see that they are shiny. They show metallic luster. As well, at room temperature, with the exception of mercury at 25 degrees Celsius, all metals are solids. We can see that if it is close to the this ambient temperature, or what we call room temperature, some metals, for example cesium in group number 1, can be found as well slightly as a liquid. And they are very good conductors of heat and electricity. That's why they are used for wires, they are used for pans, they're used in engines, so they're also highly resistant. So metals have really very important applications. So let's review something here about metals. And this is a typical question that you can find about it. It says the diagram shows the structure of two substances used to make electrical conductors. Here you can see X and you can see Y. So which statement correctly describes X and Y? So let's look at the answers right here. Just take a moment to look at the options and let's see each one of them. The first one says A. X is a pure metal and Y is a compound. So as we can see, yeah, X can be a pure metal because we only have individual atoms and they are closely packed together as a solid. But this one, we also have individual atoms, but we don't see that there is a chemical bond. They are just together. So this is not a compound. B. X is a pure metal, we already know that, and Y is an alloy. Indeed, this is an alloy. If we just go back to the presentation right here, we can see that alloys are mixtures of metals, and they are made, we make alloys usually to improve the property of the metal. For example, you can see that 18 karat gold, that is the most common gold in jewelry, is an alloy consisting of 75% pure gold and 25% other metals. And these other metals can be copper, silver, and zinc. And depending on the amount of these other metals, the concentration of gold decreases. But it's a mixture, and the mixture improves the properties of the metal. So here we can see that this can be another atom, it can be another metal that it's been mixed, and then it forms an alloy. So in this case, this would be the correct answer. C, it says X is a solid. Yes, we can see that it's a solid. And Y it's a liquid? No, because we can see that the particles are packed together. And X is harder and stronger than Y. So X is the pure metal, and white is the alloy. So here we expect to be this improved in properties. So very likely white would be harder and stronger than X.